Hello and welcome to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host Andre Dixon in the bunker. I'm not somewhere fancy like one of our guests here who's doing it big bimping style. But before we get to him and the amazing background he's got, I'm going to go to my friends, pals, amigos, Sam Morgan and George Eghator. How are you guys?
Very well, very well. I've ordered me a Cincinnati Bengals jersey all set for the next couple of weeks because we know we've been riding it. I know George is there as well. We've been in the same boat. So, yeah, all good so far, Mr. Dre.
This is you know what, this is like tapping in an open goal, like when it's just rolling towards a goal. This is I forgot what football player did that. I can't remember. He used to play for Everton and he scored his
David
one England
Nugent.
goal. That's
David
it. And he tapped it in and he went mad when he scored an open goal. But I'll get back to it. Wicked remembering that. George, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, very, very well. An amazing weekend of football. And to be quite frank, I can't wait to hear what Ollie's got to say about where he's at because I'm mind blown right now.
Well, let's get to it. Oliver Wilson is in Las Vegas in the amazing what I call the what's it called, the Death Star. I think that's the nickname from it. But he's there with Talk Sport. But lucky enough, he's made some time to speak to us. He's been a very busy man. How are you, sir?
Mate, I always have time to chat with you, Dre, and everybody else here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty good. Like this is pretty good. Like, it doesn't get, after the last few days, it's escalated quite a lot in entertainment. But honestly, I'm slightly more jealous of the signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey behind Sam there that I can see. That's gonna be worth a pretty penny. That's pretty fire, man. I like that.
Ollie, I'll tell you what, mate. If you want to give me where you are right now, I'll put a nice little bow on this Hopkins jersey for you.
He'll bring it straight away. There's not even a consideration at all. Like honestly, Ollie, show us where you are at the moment. Tell us what you're over there for.
Let me flip the camera around for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Forget about us. We want to see this.
Allegiant Stadium. So at the moment, we have the East-West Shrine Bowl participants practicing down on the field, getting ready for one of the college all-star games. We're just across the road from the Strip, just across the road from the Luxor Hotel, where all the media for the Shrine Bowl is taking place. We're in the Cabana boxes here. That's pretty. I believe the kids would say swaggy. I mean, the facilities in here as well.
Swaggy. Oh, man.
This is just.
Oh,
amazing. It's nice. God. This is what a few billion will get you if you're putting money into a stadium.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what? We're all going to have to chip in.
And even then, I'm going to say this quietly, I think SoFi was better. I think SoFi was that little bit better. If I'm saying, yeah.
Really?
SoFi is
okay.
It's incredible. It's 5 levels.
Did they have that
dug
screen in the middle?
ground.
Like, did they have any?
5?
Yeah.
Because that's the selling point for the screen in the middle of the SoFi, but I can't see anything there.
Well, you've got the big screen up behind me.
Okay.
And then you've got the behemoth screen up there as well.
Right.
So
and they've got the flame behind, haven't they?
Mm.
Yeah. That's flame just over here on my right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But SoFi, the ground level is the 5th tier. So you walk in and it just drops away below you. Wow. And then you've got another 2 tiers coming up. So it looks big at ground level, but down on the field, you know how it is, guys. So,
oh my God.
We're going to pretend like we know how it is.
It's
but
huge.
Literally.
It's huge.
I'm living, Ollie, right now, I'm living through you. Like, I'm literally like, I can see it or I feel it while I'm living right through you because that is just off the scale. Like, wow.
You know what Ollie's done?
Unbelievable.
He's made it so that we can't use our Tottenham pictures or our Wembley pictures again. Because I was living happily off of them. I even had some in the reserves, and now I can't use them because look at this. He's so fire, standing up, and then I'll see his Instagram picture. We'll put it down below, definitely, because you got to check out Ollie's pictures there. But actually, I must say this: huge thanks for the guided tour that you gave us, pre-game before the Rams and 49ers. Honestly, we've had such great feedback from that. So thank you so much for that amazing experience. We're living through you.
Not at all, man. I mean, we said off the last time we spoke last week that we need to kind of this is the best thing about NFL in the UK, is that we can all come together and do stuff to help everybody out at different points. So when we get access, it's worth just kind of sharing it about, letting other people in on everything you get to see, because the more eyes that get on it in the UK and the more promotion it gets, the bigger the sport gets. And that's really what we want at the end of the day. So
that's true. Yeah. Well,
communist
when we,
NFL, that's what it is. Everybody's sharing everything.
When I have spare tickets to my kids' country freight show, then I'll make sure that you get front in line.
Just give me the behind the scenes video of it, please.
I'll look at it later.
All we want to see.
Well, let's get to some of the breaking news that's happened. Funny story behind this. Last week it was confirmed when I was doing some interviews with one of the 49ers stars for the NFL, and it popped up on my screen that Tom Brady is retired. So this has been going on for the last how many days now? 4 or 5 days it's been of this retirement tour. But now it's official. He's actually put out a statement saying he's actually retired. I'm going to start off with you, Ollie. What's your reaction to the official retirement of Tom Brady now?
Well, unfortunately for Tom, it's the big anti-climax, isn't it? Because we've known this, as we've said, for the last 5 days or so since it dropped and it was leaked, and TB12 put out their Twitter post that said, "Thanks very much, Tom," listing all his accolades. And Tom was very quick to roll back on that and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Why would I want to do this just before the championship games and just before all the Super Bowl and Pro Bowl hoopla? He wants his standalone moment. And so it is really kind of anticlimactic. We've known this for a few days, but at the same time, it's genuinely sad. And not to make it too personal, but his first win was the first Super Bowl that I kind of really stayed up for as a young kid back in 2001, 2002. And so you followed his career. The first Super Bowl that I covered with TalkSport and got to call was Brady's last one with the Patriots. So it's he is my NFL fandom, whether I like him or not, whether I like the Patriots or not, I don't. So it's just that way. It's an icon who you've grown up with and you've learned more and more about the sport with. Finally walking away. What a career. Just the best. Just the best.
Definitely be a lot of people sad, and obviously probably more people happy to see the back of it, because it means that there's more wins for the rest of us now. George, what say you, sir?
I think so. Being a Colts fan, naturally, I'm not a big fan of the Patriots and Tom Brady himself. But the reason why people hate on him so much is because they fear him and they fear what he can do, and they know what he's capable of, and he does it year in, year out. So you have to give him his props. I mean, people are talking about the debate between MJ and Brady. That's the level that we're talking about. The level of all his goals and everything that he's achieved. I was making a post earlier to post later today, and his accolades are no joke. And he's 44, if not 45, I think 44 now. To do what he's done for so many years in the NFL, when we play such a physical game, it's just off the scale. It's almost hard to put into words. And Ollie's right. It is quite sad, because you're never going to have those moments again. Don't get me wrong. It's a changing of the guard, and there's a lot to look forward to. But Tom Brady is one of a kind, and he will be missed. And I will say that as a Colts fan.
Sam, what say you?
Yeah, it's obviously a sad moment. I think for me, it's now going into this unknown. Like we've seen, Big Ben is obviously gone now. Brady's obviously hung up his cleats. Obviously, we lost the Mannings obviously a little while ago. We look at there's question marks around what Rodgers obviously going to do next as well. That old guard is on its way out, right? So it's just, we're stepping into this unknown. We watched a great game obviously the other day with Burrows and Mahomes, and we're seeing this sort of change of the guard. So it's stepping into unknown. And like Ollie said, ever since I've sort of really got into this sport, all I've known is Tom Brady, right? Like he's just always been there. We've seen him here in London, obviously at Wembley as well, and everyone was like, we got to see him. So one thing I would say, quite happy I got to witness Tom Brady in the flesh, which is great, and I'll take that one. But honestly, it is the unknown, and yeah, like you said, George, props to the accolades. An interesting fact that I did read is that he threw more touchdowns in his 40s than he did in his 20s. Wow. Imagine, so just shows you like what this guy actually continued to do, and just I think from the day he stepped in, obviously and was drafted, right? Everyone kept doubting him, even after the accolades, even after probably the third or fourth Super Bowl ring, people were still doubting him. It's like, is this guy legit? And it's like there's no one else in any sport that would win that many championships. We had to have so many doubters. So obviously, fair play to Tom Brady. He's obviously going to walk away, obviously with his head held high, with all the rings he could possibly think of, and he'll go down as Thanos for me until the end.
Yeah.
So fair play to him, and it's sad for the sport, but obviously at the same time, there's that little bit of that excitement now as to see who obviously takes over.
Now, I hate that term, like, who's going to be the next Tom Brady, because there's only one. But who's the person that do you feel like could, push him, for trophies in the future? Obviously, Mahomes is probably the person that comes into mind. Obviously, he's just got one, but Sam, do you think that there's anyone on the horizon who could get to that level?
I don't think we'll see it. Not that level. What's he won? 7? Is it 7?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see anyone do that. I honestly don't believe, not in our lifetime. I don't think. I think this the way the teams are, and not just Tom Brady. That era of Belichick and Tom Brady, I just don't think we'll witness it. So listen, I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady, because remember, Belichick was obviously that partner in crime and kept reinventing that team year on year. And how many times do we talk about how much we love this sport because anyone on any given Sunday could win the game, win a championship? And there's, we've just seen again with the Bengals and the Chiefs, there was a lot of people, it was Chiefs. That's all I saw all the way through. Yeah. Yet we saw what Burrow and Bengals have done. So I just don't think we're going to see a Patriots team like that, and I don't think we're going to see a Tom Brady. But if I was going to say that who's probably going to be the most successful, it just depends on the team, because I'd say Mahomes, but I still rate Herbert. I still think, but can the Chargers get it right? That's the biggest thing right now. So, but again, like I mentioned before, it's all about the excitement of who's actually going to do that. But honestly, Dre and gang, I just don't think we'll ever see another Tom Brady or someone of that much success.
George, and then Ollie.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, Josh. Apologies.
No. Go on.
No, go. That's all good.
Hey, look at the stadium you're behind. You could cut into me.
You look at when Brady came in and the state of that division, where the Jets were certainly on the wane. The Pennington era was falling out with that bum shoulder. You look at what the Bills were at that point and were never really competitive, and the Dolphins have continued to be a team that kind of flatters to deceive. So Brady, when he was in those learning years of getting to grips with the NFL, had arguably the best head coach in the game, great staff around him, a great defense, and didn't have as much pressure on him to do that. And that Patriots team wasn't really competing with anybody that often in that division over those early years. Whereas if you're asking who's going to do it now, all of these really good young quarterbacks have so much competition around them. I mean, we're already saying like the Bills and the Chiefs, it's going to be Mahomes and Allen all the time. Well, it might not be, because it might be the Bengals stepping in with that team as well if Zach Taylor can continue to create a consistent team around Joe Burrow. And you could argue then, you look at Justin Herbert, you look at what the Raiders have here at the moment, whether they're in on Carr or not. There's in those young QBs that could perhaps take the mantle and run with it. There's too many to kind of share it around, and you almost want to see all of them get their chance to go to a big game as well. So I think it's really unlikely we ever see it again. Look at Aaron Rodgers, arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, and yet still only got that one ring, can't get it done in Green Bay. So,
George?
I mean, the guys have pretty much summed it up, really. I'm of the same opinion. I mean, I just don't think we'll see it. I just don't. I think it's a combination of the time that Brady came into play, the pairing with Belichick, like we've all said, the way divisions were, the competition. It's very different right now. Very different. I mean, you could name 5 guys, and no one is really talking about Lamar Jackson right now, purely because they obviously didn't do very well in the playoffs, and clearly he's not been in the picture. So obviously we have guys like Herbert, we have guys like Burrow, we have guys like Mahomes, and at the minute, at present, this is the future. So I don't think we're ever going to see anything close to what Brady has done. I think the talent it's so widespread, and it's so opportunistic for any of these quarterbacks to succeed. So I mean, Brady's in a league of his own. I have to say it.
I was just looking up and just thinking, which quarterbacks in the playoffs have beaten Brady? And like literally, you have to go through like a fair amount of people to be able to get to the lucky 7. So you got Mark Sanchez when he's at the Jets. Wow. Nick Foles, obviously, in Super Bowl. Ryan Tannehill, this is the last game that Brady played with the Patriots. There's a guy called Jake Plummer from the Broncos as well.
Wow.
Old
Flacco.
sidearm Jake Plummer, yeah.
Yeah.
He would literally throw it right at a right angle almost. His throwing accuracy was insane.
It's weird. Literally that one was news to me. Flacco from the Ravens as well, and Peyton Manning from the Colts when it was the Colts Broncos. Yeah, I don't know which one was it. It was yeah, he beat them in both actually. Yeah, and then obviously we don't need to talk about Eli. We 2 times beat him in the Super Bowl. But But you know what? To be honest with you, like if you've got that small amount of people that beat you in the playoffs, come on, man. Even if you're not a Brady fan, no matter what you say, you got to give the guy his flowers, give him his salute because Oh, have we got to add one more? Stafford, haven't we? Yeah, we got
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Matty Staff.
We got to add Stafford. Actually, speaking of which, obviously, nice segue there. But obviously, we got to witness one of the best games ever. I'm annoyed because my prediction was wrong, not because they were outplayed, because they just it was because of one thing I didn't want to happen where Jimmy G decided to just effectively, to me, lose them the game. But let me see if you think I'm right. I'll start off with you, Ollie. Ollie, where because obviously you was there. So where was the game won and lost?
Queasy Tar. Let's put an absolute stamp on it. That's the biggest game, biggest player of the whole game. And it's not just that. It's the fact that the following play, you go down and you connect for a first down with Odell Beckham Jr. and slap another 15-yard penalty on top of that. That momentum shift in a game where neither team could really get a full-on hold of momentum in that NFC Championship game was completely where it was won. The Rams drove well, but had poor field position for a large part of that game, starting back at the 20, inside their 15. And we'll get to midfield and kind of get into no man's land with these short run play on first down that gets them nothing. Stafford going for broke on second down, leaving them with a difficult 3rd and long. Whereas the Niners didn't actually move the ball very well, but benefited from decent starting position at times. And of course, you have the big run from Deebo Samuel. There's only a couple of really solid drives from the 49ers where you thought they'd got the offense in momentum. But the Rams couldn't finish off drives. They had the missed field goal as well in the second quarter. And that kind of made you think that maybe it wasn't going to be their day. And then that happens with Tart. And you're like, you've got the get out of jail play completely. All the stadium, which was split 50-50, the noise levels, as you heard, were just insane in that place. It just went up another notch for the LA Rams in that moment. And that was when you're like, okay, if they go and score on this drive and Cooper Kupp and OBJ start connecting again and they start completing first downs, I think then, that was it. That was a big one.
Yeah, Sam, what's your take on it?
I mean, we said this. I said, as soon as we'd said, if Jimmy G decides to start trying to air the ball out, it's over. He's just not that guy. But I will say this, credit to the 49ers, obviously getting that far. So, Dre, you can have some sort of celebrational piece that they got so close enough.
That's true.
But
hey, closer than my team.
Your team is irrelevant. They tried to stay relevant by tweeting about Tom Brady today. Yeah. So that's how you're trying to stay in the limelight. So we won't talk about the Giants. Exactly. Still living in the past. Honestly, again, credit again to the NFL. Just actually watching a game like that magnitude, and it was a sort of back and forth between the two teams. And like you said, Ollie, they couldn't get going either of them in a sense. But that's then credit to both teams and coaches. If you looked at both of them, and you're obviously from us more peasants that are watching it from a TV screen, right? We were obviously seeing emotion from both of them, and it was just these guys are fully wired in. You could see that tension was there, and obviously you could see it from both sides. So again, the Rams, I think they just edged it just because that psychological piece there. I think this to get it through. I think they had enough sort of players on their roster to sort of see it through. That mentality just got them through and kept that level head all the way through. The leaders in there, I think that was it for me. So it was the leadership and the team. You could see them rallying each other as the 49ers were in a sense, some of those players were in unknown territory, and I just don't think they had that little bit of pressure on them. So, but again, credit to the Rams. Thank God I didn't have to listen to Dre say, I told you so about the 49ers any
So
longer. So close, but you didn't make it. But yeah, credit to the Rams.
George, do you feel like it was like the only kind of comparison I can give you is in Back to the Future when Biff got punched in the mouth by George, and literally it felt like, you know, when the I mean, obviously Ollie would know, when the crowd started to actually start cheering for the Rams and overshadow some of the 49ers, well, because I thought it was their stadium for a long part of the time. But they seemed, Sam's right. I think they seem to actually get into some type of shock. Like, wait a minute, we're not used to this. We're used to playing bully ball, not the other way around.
Yeah, I think for one, the crowd makes a huge difference. People underestimate a huge difference. And in a game like that, where I don't know if maybe correct, but there wasn't a score until late in the first or early second quarter, which clearly both teams are, on the knife edge, tense, not knowing what to do and being tight in both offense and defense. But just a few shout outs. Credit to Odell Beckham, because him and Cooper Kupp over 100 yards each. I think Kupp was nine catches over 100 yards, and Odell did great as well. Make a massive difference to the game. This is the same Odell that people had written off, called him a locker room cancer and all of that, until his dad comes in and saves the day and gets him out of there, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl. The other side of the field being the 49ers, again, Jimmy G, he's not the answer, right? And I know he scored a touchdown pass to George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel did what Deebo Samuel does. But to me, they just looked a little bit scared. You can see at some points, I mean, yeah, they were interceptions back and forth and things were happening. But again, when the crowd starts to make noise and the momentum is with the other side, and Jimmy G ends up doing a Wentz, the whole shovel pass and ending it with a pick, it's never going to end well. I will say this, had he won the game, I think the 49ers would look to keep him. Now he's lost the game. It makes it a lot easier to give the team to Trey Lance. But overall, it was a very close game. Obviously, kickers still matter, as we've seen in both games now and throughout the whole playoffs, the divisionals, the conference. And I can't complain, man. I mean, in a stadium like that, and the traveling fans, the excitement. I knew the Rams were going to win. I said they'd win. I put it out there. It was closer than I thought it would be. I will say that. But like Sam said, when you got leaders like Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, Matthew Stafford, like, the Lions did him dirty. Look at what he's managed to achieve. And credit to the Rams organization. They went all in, sacrificed all their first round picks for another 2 years, and they may go all the way. But I'll keep that for the the second.
Yeah, we're going to see it. We're going to get that lock is coming out again. Just last word on this, Ollie. Describe the whole atmosphere and the occasion for people that haven't, aren't lucky enough to be able to be where you are. Like, tell us what it was like, because it seemed loud.
I mean, it's genuinely, and this isn't me kind of trying to overreact. Genuinely had a headache after the game because the noise level was at a constant 107, 108 decibels throughout, because it was such a 50-50 split in the stadium. Both offenses. Stafford was struggling at times with making calls and getting play calls in from his coaching staff. Same with Garoppolo, particularly towards the end. And it shows how good this rivalry is for the battle pretty much of the state. And I know the Chargers are in this as well, of course, with Justin Herbert. And I really do want to see them come good in LA as well. But at the moment, because of the divisional rivalries, it's that 49ers-Rams game that is the biggest game on the California coastline. And then the championship game atmospheres are always bigger and better than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the big money, corporate sponsorship, credentials, all that kind of stuff. The championship games where the diehard fans can still get in, still get a ticket, and still bleed for their teams. So we were in there when the stadium opened up, and it was like, how red are the stands going to be? And you just saw these big patches in the lower bowl and a few big patches in the upper bowl as well. And it was like Niners fans had basically gone to make a big away end at little spots around the stadium, and it gave it a proper football fans rivalry. So when we were pitch side before the game, watching them warm up and stuff like that, and this is going to sound like the ultimate flex, but so excuse me if I smile while saying this. We're pitch side.
Go ahead.
We're not meant to be there after like half an hour before kickoff, basically. And there's another chap who's with me, Sky Sports commentator Andy Bishop, and he gets moved on and told to like crack on, and all of the other media guys are there. And I got chatting with Frank Gore right next to the Niners bench, just like, wow. Oh, Frank, like, cool, how you doing? Like, what? All right, this is surreal, make the most of it. And nobody came and spoke to me. So I was kind of stood there, and suddenly looked around. There's only the Fox sideline crew that are there, and like the photographers. And I'm like, well, don't say anything. Don't go until somebody tells you to go. And there was one of the Rams press guys who we'd spoken to previously, kind of just over my shoulder. And I didn't really make eye contact. I just thought, if somebody tries to throw me out, at least he's there, so I won't get thrown out the whole place or something like that. A misunderstanding, English guy, something. And I just kind of stayed closer, and then you kind of move a little closer to the field, and then you end up watching it from basically behind the referee and seeing kind of the atmosphere, what it's like at field level. And as I say, my mate Andy got thrown out for a bit, and he had to go up into the stands and find somewhere to sit. And he said it was getting a bit tasty between the Niners and Rams fans in certain pockets of the stadium. It's that intense. You don't associate that sort of thing too often with American sports. And then he was able to actually get back down to the sideline for the second half alongside me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unreal, man.
Don't know how he did it. And he came down and was like, Jesus, it's twice as noisy down here. Because even though SoFi holds the noise in with its roof and everything, it's all being projected from all around you. It's surround sound coming down. Whereas if you're at one end of the stadium, you don't quite get the impact of people who are like 110 yards away. And he was like, this is deafening. Like, we had to yell to communicate. And if we're doing that, and what the quarterbacks are doing and like trying to get those play calls, unreal. Absolutely. It is the greatest experience. The whistle goes, Stafford takes the final knee, leisurely stroll out onto the field next to Aaron Donald, and like,
sorry, I was like, you went onto the field.
Oh, we're on the field as they're celebrating. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Ollie,
hero,
listen.
Here is the crown.
Because that is something like, that is a story to tell for the rest of your life.
I would be too scared.
Oh yeah.
I would be too
You know
scared.
what I mean? Yeah.
I didn't go running. I definitely watched a lot of the rest of the sideline go flying on, and then it was like, well, we're here, so you just kind of like leisurely walk out on the phone, make sure don't get eye contact with anybody, and and then Aaron Donald's like 4 foot away getting interviewed by ESPN. Von Miller's jumping around. OBJ, I was wearing a blue blazer. OBJ pre-game warm-ups gave a nod to my blazer of like nice color. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like off the chain. It was just, it's unreal. Like, I'm so fortunate to do that that's a job. And like, we got some interviews, Eric Weddle after the game, Van Jefferson after the game and stuff, and like, you can't buy that ticket, you can't buy that experience. And to just I mean, I hope NFL UK understand that it was all okay with the Rams. We spoke to them after the game, the press guys, and they were like, yeah, we saw you weren't causing any problems, so we were okay with you guys being down there, which is great, because otherwise I'd have been very worried talking about it too much, of like, what were you doing down there on the sideline, and you're never getting back into Tottenham again. Yeah. Wow. David Tossell, angry note, do not want that.
He'll just send a picture just of his face just staring. Wow.
I got to thank him. I got to thank everybody. It was just, the Rams were great. They put champagne in the press room afterwards as part of the celebration. I mean, it was just ridiculous. You
got champagne too? Oh, no.
Listen, the whole shebang.
The pinky
everything.
We need to look at what we're doing wrong here. Like, we're watching it on TV in the night with my cats. There's something not right here.
What an experience, man.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'll move on because I'm a hater. So let's talk about, obviously, Joey B. Obviously he completely surprised everyone, because when Mahomes and the Chiefs went up, what were we talking about? 21 points?
21-3, yeah.
Yeah, so they went up, and so you literally was thinking, okay, this is game over. And I was literally planning on what I was going to watch, and maybe a little bit of the Boba Fett or something like that, because I was literally thinking this is going to be a tragic beating. But you know what? Like, Joey Burrows showed that he's actually that guy to me. So he definitely will be having a shirt up there. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to know that he's made my Hall of Fame. But George, I'll start off with you. Like, what was your take on the whole game? And does this mean that now, come what may, even if he doesn't win, Is Joe Burrow's a elite?
I think they've built a winning team over there. And I said this a lot before the game because I mean they've got a young squad and they're all developing together. You got guys like Hilton in the defense who's just playing lights out, Hubbard, Hendrickson, just guys that fly under the radar but are great. On the offensive side of the ball, obviously you've got the strong run game. You've got the guys like Higgins, Boyd, Uzama, who unfortunately got injured, and then obviously number one Chase. The thing for me is there were some pivotal points in this game that changed the game, and a couple of omens, and I'll quickly reel them off. Number one, 21-3 up is never a good look. Gives you the Brady vibes, right? But Burrow isn't Brady. That's number one. Number two, the touchdown on the screenplay from Samaje Perine, which I didn't think was going to happen, changed the momentum of the game. Absolutely changed the whole momentum of the game. Number three, half-time, the Bengals were down by the same amount of points that they were down, I think, week 17 or week 18 when they played the Kansas City last time. So already, the coaches on the sideline, and Andy Reid's probably thinking, this is not good, because the Bengals came back and won. Lo and behold, they came back and won. And the interception by Mahomes, I forget the name, his name escapes me, the Bengals guy who intercepted it was a tipped pass and he intercepted Mahomes, and that also changed the game. But to come back in the way that they did, with a clutch guy like Evan McPherson, putting his team on his back again and delivering again. Bearing in mind, this is the same Mahomes, Burrow who had his ACL injury last season and was, it's a very serious injury. To come back and break tackles of people by the likes of Chris Jones, who was within 4 yards of him and couldn't tackle him, I was in utter shock. So I credit everything that the Bengals have done. I mean, they were an awful team a couple of years ago, and they've completely turned it around, and they're now in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm speechless. I just love everything they're doing, and I root for them all the way.
Sam?
Yeah, they've got me as an adopted fan, that's for sure. We spoke about it on the show a few times, and you looked at me in disgust when I put my lock of the week on the Bengals. But something about the Bengals that obviously we've got to look out for when it comes to the Super Bowl as well is they are definitely a second half team. Yeah, like if you watch them throughout the season, how they do it. So what I like about that, what that tells me is that they just literally, they're not fazed by anything. And but like I just said about the mentality there about the 49ers, right, is I do worry about the Rams. If things aren't going their way, but it's just ahead, come second half, the Bengals might cause a few problems. And obviously that's where as I say, I'm still putting my hat on them a little bit on this. Plus, honestly, I can't have another NFC West championship like champion there. I need I need my Cardinals still to have something to hold on to. But honestly, Joey B, as he's like your best mate now, Dre, if you're calling him Joey B. But honestly, bandwagon. What I like a bandwagon, you finally got there, finally. But honestly, what I've liked about them, their recruitment. They've really looked at the pairings and who they've got in there. Because if you look at the guys they took from LSU, right, and you talk, it's not just about Jamal Chase. And obviously Burrows, it's his name has literally come out of me. I think it's the one that carried him on his shoulders. Like, is that little click there that they've got there and actually had that togetherness, and they've obviously sharing their experiences, and these guys have got nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. Just literally just proving people wrong right now, and it's that you can tell. You know what? If I look at the Rams, this is business to them, right? Like this is like winning the Super Bowl and getting this far. This is business. They've gone all in. Remember, like I spoke about this, that how they've gone all in. Is they're going to that pressure. No one expected the Bengals to be in the Super Bowl, even up to the point of getting to the Chiefs, getting that far. No one expected them to win that game and be in this position. They're having fun with it. I'm seeing Jamal Chase and Burrow's dad getting together, beers, cigars, like that. The whole city is bolt into it. They're talking about obviously having days off for everyone at school, work. Like they're all getting behind it, and that's what I'm loving. And that's why I love sport and I love the NFL because everyone's getting behind it. But the way they done it against the Chiefs, it was brilliant. Like just honestly, because it was just like. There's a part of me going, I'm going to have to put up with Mahomes' his little brother dancing. Like, it was just like, oh, am I going to have to deal with this? Am I going to have to deal with this again? But honestly, generally, just how they came back, like that momentum shifted real quick. Like, it was like, you blinked and it was like, hold up, they could win this. It wasn't like when they got that first touchdown, it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, they've got something. They're making it like, look so it's okay. It's not a beating. But then the momentum shifted so much, and they've done that. It's like they literally flicked a switch. And it was the first time for me in a while that I've seen the Chiefs go, we don't have an answer.
Yeah.
You know, but I think we messaged as soon as that overtime was in. They won their coin toss. I was like, oh, we're going to be talking about this again. Someone's going to be talking about this rule. But again, the Bengals did not look phased one bit, did they? It wasn't like, oh, that's it. Mahomes is definitely going to score a touchdown. I think that, you know, that was the attitude I thought was going to be around that team, but they didn't show it. They got what they needed to do, and that field goal came in. And is it McPherson, obviously the kicker? I just want to say that kid, he looks about 12 years old, and it wasn't a bead of sweat on him when he was warming up on the side. And I was like, man, if that was me, they'd have to call someone in. I'd have fans by me. I'd be all sorts. But he was steady Eddie, and fair play to him. And as I say, credit to the Bengals. And I'm amazed. And I can see you can keep waving that lock, Dre.
Because you know what's coming now. Because you know what's coming now. So I'm going to start off with Ollie. Ollie, you know what this chain means with the lock.
Yeah.
You know you have to put... You was right the last time. I think luckily because of stupid Jimmy G and his nonsensical play. I didn't mean stupid 49ers. I just saw the corporate hospitality going. Just gone. But right, Ollie, who's your lock? Early lock, because we'll obviously speak to you before then. But right now, this week, what's your lock for the game, the big game, Super Bowl?
I slept on it for the AFC Championship game, and I thought the momentum was going to run out of this Bengals team. And Anaruma, the D coordinator, his adjustments that he's made to limit the Chiefs to 3 points in the second half of 2 games this year. They know how to work on the fly and make adjustments as the game goes. And let's just put a little bit of respect on that name of Joe Mixon as well, because everybody's talking about the passing attack. Everyone says Joe Burrow, but it's Joe Mixon who's been a real engine. And look at what he did in overtime as well. The Rams are still too all over the place at times for me. They're great, and I'd love to see Stafford win it. I really love Matt Stafford, but I'm going with the Bengals early. Going with the Bengals early.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I think both of these teams, though, are really well balanced. Like, since Cam Akers came back for the playoffs as well, that's helped the Rams support so much. And Stafford showed in the big game, in the NFC Championship game, that he can play pretty much lights out. He gets away with one, and he has the early interception, and the Bengals will get those opportunities on defense to take something off Stafford. Both of these, it's going to be so tight. But I think the Bengals, with the adjustments, McVay is more conservative. The Bengals, they're like, sod it, let's go for broke. Let's have fun.
Wow. Well, I really didn't expect you to go with Bengals. I've got a feeling that George is going to be going alongside you.
Well, you know me. I've stayed in the flames with, Mr. Joe Burrow. I've picked the Bengals each and every time. No one thought they'd beat Kansas once. They did it. Beat Kansas twice by, dropping 8 and rushing 3 and the spy on Mahomes, and they did it. The answer is the Bengals. I'm sorry. It's going to be a great game. I don't hate on either side. I love Matthew Stafford, and he's done so amazing for the Rams. And I love the Bengals right now. But I'm staying in the flames. Joe Burrow and the Bengals for the Super Bowl, and I will never change my pick. That is me locked in.
Woo. Sam, last one.
Yeah, I'm here with the smoking guns. Joey Burrow, I'm there all day long, mate. I've seen it all the way through, and honestly, I cannot wait to see him do it. And I'll tell you what, I will say this: it's going to make everyone change their way of doing things. I think going forward, if they do, obviously lift Lombardi, I think it will. I think the recruit is going to be different.
It's such a dangerous way to do it, though. This is the one thing, because everybody loves in the NFL to copycat, right? And this is the thing that I think is going to be really dangerous. Is Chase Burrow is so unique as a tandem, the quality, and that LSU team in general. You look at where so many of those players from that LSU team have gone. CEH and Chase were having like the tearful, emotional conversation, and teams will look to replicate that with really good college squads. And it might not happen again. This might be like a class of 92 type of LSU Tigers team. And so everybody just put your foot on the brake. I know you're desperate, Dre, in New York. I know you finally got your head coach and everything. But
I knew. You know what? Ollie finds ways to have a dig at my team.
You need all the help you can get, man. You need all the help you can get.
Yeah.
He could be on the live broadcast on TalkSport, and he'll find a way to be able to have a dig at my Giants. Oh,
Where there's a will, mate. Don't worry, the Cowboys will get it as well on Super Bowl
yeah.
Sunday. It's
Oh
fine.
yeah. Oh yeah.
no, well, I
Do the right thing, Dre. Do the right thing.
you know what? I had Hannah, obviously Hannah Wilkes from Sky Sports NFL was alongside me on my phone all night long watching that game. And although I want the Bengals to win because I love the storyline, my head tells me that it's going to be the Rams. Now, it doesn't mean I'm Ramily because they've banned me now because I picked against them a couple of times and I've been cut as an honorary 49er. But I just got a feeling that these guys are desperate to win. And there's a lot of pressure on the Rams. And what I saw, the guts that I didn't think they had, I thought that the 49ers wanted it more. And then when the temperature turned up, then they really stood up and became giants, literally. I think it's because it's in their own stadium as well. There's that added comfort. I just think that there's a lot of. I mean, if Burrows does this, I think Ollie, I think he'd be the first QB to win a Heisman, a national title, and then a Super Bowl ever. So I mean, I'd love to see it. I just think that it's going to be I'll put my luck on it.
I'll tell you this. There's another omen for you, right? So you just mentioned that stat. The only ever two quarterbacks to win the College Bowl and the Super Bowl, Joe Namath and Joe Montana. See where I'm going with this?
That's
is
the
answer. Joe Burrow is the answer. I'm sorry, it's the answer.
I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it because I think he literally is the coolest player in the NFL, full stop. With that cigar and that chain, oh my God. Literally, the way he walked in, you thought, yeah, this guy's got no fear in any form of way. I thought they would crack up, but we'll see.
He went for the Rock 1990s compilation.
Yeah.
Turtleneck and chain, didn't he? Like, I'm not sure if anybody can pull that off. If The Rock couldn't do it, I'm not sure even Joe Burrow can do
better.
But yeah.
But Ollie, when they asked him if it's real, and he says, "I make too much money for it not to be real." I was like, okay, this guy, let me that's it. You're going up here. That's for sure, definitely. Right, just really quickly before we get out of here, two hirings. Obviously, my Giants went with not my choice, but what do you, Oliver? What do you think about the Giants' choice of Mr. DeBow joining the Giants?
Look at the Buffalo stuff. That's great. Look at out of the Belichick tree, that never seems to do well. So for the Giants, I think the jury's out. I mean, it's very easy. I was watching actually the press conference this week, saying all the right things, but it's a big mess in New York, and it's a brave man to take the job, and I don't mean that to have a pop kind of way. It's just the facts at the moment. It's a brave man to take the job with that pressure and to try and rebuild it. And
I've been hurt.
Let's see if we can bring that Buffalo success.
I've been in a relationship before. I've heard all these words before. I don't believe you. And then just Josh McDaniels as well. Good hire.
Oh yeah.
Good luck. How long is he going to stick around in this job?
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. He'll probably pack his bags and go running back to Bill Belichick tomorrow. So
there was a very interesting point though of why have the Patriots allowed this? Because wasn't it set up for McDaniels to take over from Belichick? So it's interesting that either the Patriots don't feel that he might be the right guy to take over from Belichick and continue that and be part of that, or the Raiders just think, well, we've got to take this chance to get a guy that has been incredibly successful in the NFL. But George, I feel your pain on that one. That still lingers, right? As a Colts.
He can go. We don't want him. He can stay over there. I'll tell you what.
I just remembered why he's so angry.
The Colts Raiders game is going to be interesting with Frank Reich versus McDaniels now. That's going to be a hell of a game.
McDaniels is a loan move. I reckon they've sent him out to go and get a bit of experience before Belichick actually goes. Just a bit more, just to sort of see how it is. And then he'll come, and then he'll go back.
Well, we've covered all the news over the whole week, and I'm still sulking over my good. I had a nice run of getting the right picks, and then it just blew up where I got both of them wrong. So what the hell do I know now? I'm just questioning my whole knowledge of the NFL world. But we will, fingers crossed. We'll touch base with Ollie next week on the build up to the Super Bowl in some form of way. I'll harass him until he answers. Basically, that's what that means.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. It's all good.
But until then, sorry, Ollie, tell people where they can catch you broadcasting this week.
We'll be doing the Pro Bowl on TalkSport here from Allegiant Stadium. Then we'll be heading back to Los Angeles to do Radio Row and the Super Bowl live on TalkSport as well. And you can get onto the Return the Picks podcast for myself and a couple of mates just rambling and doing terrible mafia accents and all this kind of stuff. And, don't worry about it.
Listen. You know what? I love the podcast. I absolutely love it. You do great work. And
they've all dropped out on me today. We were meant to record today, and they've both dropped out on me to have spend time with their respective partners. So I'm thinking I might have to do like a Bill Burr on my own for half an hour, just talking
public
about the
shaming of his friends. Like,
No,
look at
Bill
this.
Burr. Oh man,
It's like they just don't want to see. They don't want to see where you are. That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, that'd be it.
Let him live. Let him live. Well, hopefully we'll catch you next week, Ollie, and obviously these guys will be back with our build up towards the big game. And obviously, guys, if you are in London, make sure you check out Hard Rock Cafe in Piccadilly Circus for the big Super Bowl show game. We've got lots of things going on there, games, and then the cheerleaders. I know Sam's already sold on that, and and lots of food and drink. Come on, what more could you want? All right, until then, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.